Are you like me, gardening at home, trying to grow some vegetables, homegrown veg? You haven't got a lot to work with. You do your best, don't you? Yeah, you do your best. You've just seen me harvest some tomatoes and some cucumbers from my 8x6 greenhouse, and the greenhouse is empty now. And that's thrown up 14 buckets of soil. Because if you're a follower of my channel, you'll know that I like to grow vegetables in buckets and bags. What do you do with your soil at the end of the growing year? What do you do? Well, I'm going to show you what I do, and I'm going to suggest that you might want to follow suit. We're going to save Mother Earth one bucket at a time. That's what the title says. So how are we going to do that? Well, if you've just grown vegetables in a bucket of soil or a bag of soil and you've harvested those vegetables, that soil is probably depleted of a lot of nutrients now, isn't it? What I like to do is to put them back, to charge that soil up again. And the way I do it is through chop and drop. And we're going outdoors to do some chop and drop in a minute. But let me say this before we do. I normally use a chopped mix of seaweed and leaves. Already I can hear a collective sigh from all those gardeners that don't live anywhere near the coast. Can't get seaweed. Okay, what you can get your hands on then? Can you get your hands on some grass? If you've got a lawn, you can get your hands on some grass. So for you, it's grass and leaves. Green and brown mix. For me, because I live fairly close to the coast, it's seaweed and leaves. That's my mix. But for you, it could be grass and leaves. So stay with it. And whatever I do with this seaweed, that's what you need to be doing with your grass. Okay, so here we are now. It's the end of the growing season. Everything that's going to be harvested more or less has been harvested. I've just got those 14 buckets of soil from the greenhouse. I've broken all the soil out of the root balls and recharged the buckets. I've put that soil back in the buckets. If nothing else, it keeps the place tidy. But it's exactly where I want it. I want it back in those buckets, because it's been in those buckets now for more than a decade, growing vegetables year after year after year after year. Hey, this stuff could probably last forever, provided you manage it, provided you maintain it. And the colder months give us that opportunity, so we shouldn't miss it, should we? We shouldn't miss it. And if you've used a liquid feed this year, or a granular feed for that matter, for your vegetables, and you've looked on the packet of the bottle, it'll tell you how good it is for the vegetables. The soil never gets a mention. It's not there to feed the soil, it's there to feed the vegetables, and that's what it does. And when you take the vegetables out of your bucket or your bag, whatever goodness you put in there is coming straight back out. What's happening to the soil? It must be getting depleted. Okay, so if you agree with me on that premise, that the soil's getting depleted year after year, we need to do something about it. I do something about it year after year. And as I've already said, I've grown vegetables in this same soil for as many years as I can remember. So what we're going to do now, right? Well, we're going outside. I've collected some seaweed. I've put a video up about collecting seaweed, the do's and don'ts of collecting seaweed. That was a couple of weeks back. I emptied it out as soon as I got it home, and I've let the wind and the rain take the strain. Let me tell you now about seaweed, if you're going with seaweed. There's very little salt on seaweed. It's residual. It's what's sticking to it. Well, this seaweed has been under at least, in the last couple of weeks, half a dozen showers of rain, and some of them lasting most of the day. There is no salt on that seaweed now, none whatsoever. And I would ask you, don't wash it off. There's very little to wash off, and you're just wasting good, clean drinking water when you do it. Don't do it. Let the rain take the strain. So what I'm going to do now, we're going outside. I got the leaves yesterday, I think it was. It's dry day today, so we'll be able to get this job done. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to lay the leaves out on the lawn in a line. I'm going to lay the seaweed out on top of the leaves in a straight line on the lawn, and then I'm going to put the lawnmower across the lot. I'm just going to mow it straight back up, so the grass box will be full of a chop and drop of leaves and seaweed. If you're not using seaweed, it'll be grass and leaves, but it'll be a chopped mix. Then all you have to do is take it out of the grass box and cover any bare soil that you might have. And in my case, it's going to be soil in buckets, soil in bags. Word of warning, if you do use seaweed, give it a good once-over inspection before you do. The chances are that some pebbles came up from the beach with the seaweed. You don't want to put your lawnmower over those. Check for any fishing line or any other hard objects, and just get straight across the top of it. Right, let's go out and do that. Hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Come on. These are just 3 of the small water buckets that I've been growing vegetables in this year. The growing season's behind us now. We've harvested the vegetables, and this is the soil that grew those vegetables. And what are we going to do with it? Well, it's resting now, isn't it? We're not going to use this again now for at least 5 to 6 months. So what's to be done? Well, I'll tell you what's to be done. We need to maintain this soil. We need to manage this soil. The vegetables that came out of here have depleted the soil. All the nutrients in the soil that the vegetable wanted, it's taken. So when we've taken the carrots, or the onions, or the potatoes, or the leeks, or the beetroot, or the shallots, when we've taken those out, we've left the soil depleted. And now we've got 5 to 6 months to put that right, haven't we? We're not going to grow anything in it. It's just going to stand. And then we're going to expect it to perform next spring. Well, shouldn't we give it some TLC? I mean, there'll be an ecosystem in here trying to survive. The seagulls agreeing with me. There'll be an ecosystem in here trying to survive. Worms, small insects that you can't see, bacteria, I don't know, there'll be stuff in there that's just trying to eke out a living. And what we've done is, we've taken the vegetables out, and the vegetables have taken the nutrients out that were in there. Now this is depleted. Now, under normal circumstances, if this was just soil as nature intended, with anything growing in it as nature intended, whatever grows in it dies and falls back to the soil, unless a gardener interferes, and everything in that soil is just waiting for that to happen. Takes it back into the soil, replenishes the soil. So we need to try and step in and give nature a helping hand, and that's where this chop and drop comes in. This soil's not going to be used now for 5 to 6 months. We've a golden opportunity to replenish this soil. Hey, saving Mother Earth 1 bucket at a time. Come on, I know it's a bit of a grandiose statement, that, but that's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And if you're not doing this, then I'm afraid your soil next year won't be as good as it was this year, because you put nothing back into it. So what we want is just an inch or 2 of chop and drop on here. And now what we're going to do, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to stack these, not on camera, you've probably had enough by now. And then nothing more. That's it. We're finished. We're finished until next spring. Anything that lives in that soil will see this as a food source. We'll take it down. And the wind and the rain, that's there to assist us as well. That will push it down. Frost, snow, ice, whatever, push it down. It'll be in the soil. Come next spring, hey, this soil will be loaded. It'll be ready to go, locked and loaded. This soil will be locked and loaded. Oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of a chesty cough. Yeah, so we're going indoor now. We're going to make ourselves a brew, have a cup of tea, and then I'll tidy this lot up later off camera. Okay, saving Mother Earth 1 bucket at a time. Hey, we definitely are. Okay, this is Homegrown Veg, signing out.